A Senate runoff for Georgia may seem like deja vu, but for voters, it's not the same thing all over again. WJBF News Channel 6's George Escala tells us new rules have changed the game.
Georgia voters facing another Senate runoff, but this with a twist.
Well, this time it's going to be a much quicker pace. I mean, before we had the 9 weeks, now we have 4 weeks. So we have to do everything all over again, but in a shorter period of time.
In 2020, when both Georgia Senate races resulted in a runoff, the election was in January. Now voters facing a December 6th voting date.
So the difference comes about we actually changed the law in the legislature where you actually had basically 2 months when we did it in 2020, but now it's 4 weeks. So this time is much shorter now.
For the 2020 runoffs, there were 3 weeks of advance voting. That's not the case for the 2022 Senate runoff.
There will be early voting. Early voting will start on November the 28th.
And last for?
It'll last for 1 week.
In 2020, there was time for new voters to register and still take part in the runoffs. But no new voters will be taking part this time.
The registration deadline, if it is a federal runoff, the registration deadline was the 7th, so that has already passed. So no.
The new runoff rules are part of the election law changes made after concerns were raised about the 2020 elections.
Of course, we say it was designed to suppress Democratic turnout because the fact of the matter is it came about after this particular election from 2020. And so that's why we look at it. But at this point in time, it's the law.
The 2022 campaign goes on, but this time it will come to a quicker conclusion. In Augusta, George Escala, WJBF News Channel 6.